Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the Fly With Us podcast. This podcast is bringing the art of conversation, self-love, self-care, mental health care and protection, life lessons, love lessons, and everything in between. Today is going to be a follow-up part 2 episode about respect and the ranking systems in your life. I'm Lady Bounce.
And I am a slave.
As always, if you're just joining us, you can find us on Twitter, on SoundCloud, on Instagram, and Facebook. You can interact with us on all of our social media sites, or you can email us at flywithusla@gmail.com. Okay, so I posted a question on my Facebook page, on my personal page, and it really got folks talking. And my question said, rank these women in a man's life. Wife, mother, daughter, sister. Most of my responses came from women. And the women, of course, ranked the wife first, then mother, then daughter, then sister.
Okay.
My husband, of course, being the one to stir the pots always and cause controversy. Yes, that's just what he does. He's very ornery. So he commented and said that most of these comments come from women, and if you don't rank your mother as number one and you don't see your mother as God, then something is wrong with you. After he said that, there were several men who chimed in who ranked the women, and they had similar responses to the female responses. I had one man in particular say that his mother comes first because he is not married, and then it was his children, and then his sister.
Okay.
And so I had a friend say to him, well, you must not be married if you had a comment like that. And he said, well, as a matter of fact, no, I'm not married. My ex-wife did not live up to the pedestal that I put her on, so she's no longer my queen. She's now my ex-queen. And I was like, whoa, that was
nice too, ex-queen. Okay.
And I had another friend who gave a very poignant response, which I thought was dope. She said, the wife. And if you're not prepared to put your wife first, then nothing else matters and you shouldn't get married. And I was like, whoa, I was kind of heavy. I mean, it was. But she's like, if, the wife should always come first. What say you?
What say you?
Really
quick, I'm going to double back a little bit. So this is our part 2. We were talking about respect on the previous episode involving parent and child. So now we're talking about that respect on a different level of man and woman. What say me? Oh wow. What if I had to put myself as far as hierarchy ranking? I need to be clear. I think I've said this before. On an earlier episode of Fly With Us. I need to have the conversation with the person so I know where I stand.
Okay.
And if I don't like that position, I'm getting the hell out the way. Or at least, getting out the way. Like if I feel like I should come first in the relationship, then yeah. But we'll go with that because that's touchy to me.
Well, and here was my thoughts, and I didn't go back and repost my thoughts because I kind of just wanted people to just play around with it and get the different responses before I weighed in and gave my answer. My answer is that it is up to the man in this situation to let the women in his life know where they fit. I think it is up to him to let them know where they stand. And I also believe that he has a responsibility to those women to ensure that not only they know where they stand, but they feel like it. Don't tell me I'm number one if you're going to disrespect me or side against me when it comes to another woman on that list. Like you were saying earlier when we talked about it kind of in part 1, a woman has no problem staying in that place or playing her position, but you owe it to her to tell her what that position is.
Or not necessarily tell me where I feel it.
Right. You know or where I feel it. But and here's that other piece though. Don't tell me I'm number one in your life and then make me feel like I'm not.
So if you make me feel like I'm not number one, I'm getting out the way. And I ain't gonna I don't want to say number one.
Right. Maybe not number one, but
if I don't feel that my worth is valued, or my time is valued, or what I bring to the table is of any importance to you, then it's pointless for me to be there.
I agree.
So that's where I'm at. I don't have to be number one. I don't need all that. I just need the basic stuff people need. Show me some attention, give me a little bit of love, stroke my thought process, help me, engage me with some good conversation, and I'm cool. Right.
So we often hear stories of mother-in-laws from hell, for lack of a better term. And mama's boys and women who feel like my husband will run and jump for his mother, but he won't run and jump for me. Or like,
what about when your kids run and jump, or we'll say probably not their kids, or your partner go run and jump for another woman, but not for the mama.
Exactly. So I have a friend who is married, and she often, complains for lack of a better term, about the way that her husband is with his mother. And she tells me these things, and she's like, well, what do you think? And honestly, I can't relate, because my mother-in-law, God rest her soul, she was fabulous. And when I say
what made her fabulous?
Okay, the first one, I never felt like I was in competition for my husband's attention when it came to her. She was very respectful when it came to me. She knew what my place was. And even at times where I shrank myself and put myself in a different place, she made sure that I knew what my place was in comparison to her. For example, if I was driving my mom somewhere, I would sit in the back seat. I mean, like, not if I was driving, but like,
yeah, I get that.
My mom sits in the front seat. So we went to go pick my mother-in-law up one time, and she was in a wheelchair. So she had mobility issues. So I automatically sat in the back seat because it was easier for her to get in and out of the front seat.
Yeah.
And I'll never will forget, one of the times we went to pick her up, she said, what are you doing? I said, I'm sitting in the back seat. My husband was driving. I'm like, I'm sitting in the back seat so you can get in the front. And she's like, no, you need to be in the front. I'll sit in the back.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind. I said, I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, you're going to sit in the back? No, it's a matter of respect. You're older. You have that hierarchy. You have that place in my husband's life. You sit in the front seat. And it really was like a kind of a back and forth. I'm like, no, Ma, sit in the front seat. I'm going to sit in the back. It's fine. And we went back and forth. And she's like, no, you deserve to be in the front. You are his wife, not me.
Thank you, Mama, for that lesson there. She sounds like she was showing that I'm secure in who I am.
Exactly.
I'm secure in my own position.
She would call our house, in the time that she thought was late, and she would apologize. Like, I'm sorry for calling so late, but I really need to talk to Jay. And I'm thinking in my head, you don't have to apologize to me.
That's a grown woman.
This is your son. If you want to call and talk to him, who am I to tell you can't talk to your son? And she moved away to Kentucky. She wrote him a letter while she was down there. And in her letter, she talked about me. So instead of her just writing a letter to her son to say, hey, I love you and I miss you, she said, well, how was your queen? And how was your son? And are things going well? And I can't wait till you and your queen come see me. And I was like, wow.
Now, before that happened, did you feel like you should have came first or mama should come first? Or should I say, because of how fabulous she was, should mama have came first? I mean, like,
I always thought, because of the way that she treated me, I never felt like either one of us should have been first, if that makes sense. I always felt like she knew what her place was in my husband's life. And instead of her overstepping that boundary or exerting her authority, if you will, she understood that, yes, I am his mother. Yes, I brought him life, but you are the woman that he chose to spend his life with. So it kind of went without saying. So there was never, I never felt like I had to compete, you know, for a space in his life. I never felt like I had to be, you know, like to say to him, you know, your mom is, you know, crossing a boundary, or your mom is I never felt like that. But for my friend in particular, to get back to her, if it comes down to like her husband's mom will call, he will run and jump. She got off work at one time. His mom needed a ride home from work. He didn't go pick up his wife because he went to go pick up his mother. And of course, that caused an argument. He's like, my mom needed a ride. I had to go get her. And she said, yeah, but you're driving my car and you knew what time I got off work and you didn't come get me because you went to go get your mama.
Yeah.
So
bring me my car, Jody.
very baby boy style. And even in a lot of the things that she brings to me when she's talking to me about it, it does sound very baby boyish. He is a mama's boy. My husband was a mama's boy. So I get, in that aspect, I get where she's coming from. I get what she's saying. But what I don't get is her feeling like she has to compete with her mother-in-law.
See, and then that's one of the things. If we're going to talk about that hierarchy and baby boy, for some of us women, brothers, I hope y'all chime in because we need to hear from y'all. You know, how can a sister fly if she only got one wing and things?
Right. I like it.
But put your big girl panties on and pull them up. Dig them out if you got to, but we don't have to. We got to get, and I'm learning myself.
Right.
I'm learning myself, especially with that no compete thing.
Right.
No compete thing. You should be, you know who you are. You know what your position is. You don't need anybody. We don't need anybody to tell us, oh, you number one in my life. You know what it feel like to be number one. And you know, I know full well if you're not the only one. You know, all these things. So you made a choice. You got a decision. It's all right, as Iyanla said, to be self-full and not be selfish, you know, and just go ahead and do what you need to do for you. Don't put that pressure or responsibility on somebody else passing it. Well, you made me feel like I wouldn't, or it's because of you. No, it's because of you. Yeah, just you. You define what happens to you in your life and how you feel. You do that.
I can see that.
Nobody controls.
However, comma, as my friend says, there are times where I'm just gonna have some transparency when it comes to my sisters-in-law. I don't always feel like I come first in my husband's life, and that does cause conflict. I don't always feel like, when something happens, if there's a conflict between me and my sister-in-law, where I feel like my husband has my back instead of having her back. And so there are times where I'm looking at him to have my back, to say, hey, even if you disagree with my wife, you will not disrespect my wife. You will not talk to my wife.
Some people are smart enough to know that ain't none of my damn business. And if I get in between that cat fight right there, that's going to be all bad for me for the rest of my days. They going to get over it, figure it out, probably not talk to each other, but me and her.
I can see that. I can see not touching it because of that reason. But then here's what happens when you put yourself in the middle and you don't make your position known. What happens is that you end up hearing it from both sides.
But you don't have to.
You have to.
You don't have. What do you mean?
Because you live with your wife, so you're gonna hear your wife. You talk to your sister. That's your sister. So you're gonna hear.
But apparently, we can handle it. You just can't handle it. Apparently, he can handle it.
I don't know about that.
Hey, because we can't talk about what somebody else can do, but we talk about ourselves. So I'm gonna be transparent with you. I have a friend, and sometimes that situation get touchy when the boundaries aren't clear, and you say, let's see. You're not gonna be disrespecting me. I need to know that I'm the only one and da-da-da-da-da. Why do you need to know that when all you need to know is we are friends? If you don't like that, keep it moving. So you know what this butterfly did, baby. I had to love myself and say, look here, here's the rules. When I want to be bothered, I'll be bothered. When I don't want to be bothered, I won't be bothered. When you with me, this is how I will treat you and this is how you treat me.
Right.
In that sense, I feel like I'm getting what I need and I'm happy. So I don't worry about here, here, and here. And I'm being honest with myself, even if you choose to lie to me dead cold in my face. Straight up to my face.
Straight up to my face.
No, you know,
come on,
if
Drake.
that's the case, no matter who it is, you know what's best for you. And a lot of times when I'm looking at people and saying like, well, you know you did wrong, I'm just judging, passing the buck again. Like, nah, I'm cool.
Okay, so on the flip side of that, and this is where we really need the fellas to chime in. I think I might make this my question of the day on my Facebook one day next week. When it comes to,
I'm off of Facebook for a minute, but
right, ahead. But when it comes to a woman, how do you rank the men in her life?
Or, wait a minute, what you say?
Because
how do you?
So like, okay, you have a husband.
Yeah.
You have your son. You have your brother.
So on this side, we gonna flip it and we gonna ask. I see.
So we're gonna ask. We're gonna for a man. How do you want the men in your woman's life to rank? As a woman, how do you feel the men in your life?
For the brothers, okay.
Yeah, that's for the brothers.
So we'll just use husbands and wives here. For the husbands, how do you feel you should be ranked? Do you come first as the man, or how? Now, this is great. Or I'm gonna ask my question. Or do you feel like, does it even freaking matter?
It does matter.
As long as somebody is treating you right and not disrespecting you.
Right.
What is your idea of respect? Disrespecting you, is that cool? Do you have to have a rank or title per se somewhere on the hierarchy? Do you need that? Is that really important? Because here, I'm gonna say it like this. If I'm with somebody and say we're in a relationship or whatever, or even my friend, even my homegirl, and you talking about you at my house and my kids are at my house and we about to get something to eat and you only gonna give me something to eat and you know my kids about to come in shortly and you don't give my kids nothing to eat. I don't like that.
Right. Just
like we not gonna go in nobody's house with no food and not feed the kids. They matter to their comfort. So I don't know. I'm rambling a bit, but it depends on the situation, the person. Just know what you need for yourself is how I feel. Know what you need. Know what works for you.
And I get that. And it kind of goes back to like the meme that you used to see floating around on Facebook about
who eats first. If you good like me, you ain't never got to have that argument. You go ahead and cook, and if you gonna fix some plates, you fix everybody damn plate at the same time and tell them come on in there and get it. How about that?
Right.
That's what I mean, do.
I never in my household, in my family,
I'm gonna feed my kids.
I never had that issue. You know, it was always like in my current house, it is me, my husband, my son, and my daughter. And my husband always gets his plate first. I don't think my kids even think about it to worry about it.
And that's why, because you've always done it then. Because I would feed my kids first. And some people say, well, husband worked all day. He's sorry, he's hungry, da-da-da-da. And then kids eat. Well, it depends on, for me, I think it depends on where you come from. Because where I come from a place where my grandmother would eat the back of the chicken. She give all the parts away. The biggest part, the breast, will go to my granddaddy. Yes. And the kids get all the other pieces and she eat the scraps off their plate and whatever was left because that's what they had.
Right.
But she fed him so he can go out and I guess make the money and work so that they can have a food supply. But I guess it depends.
Right. Because there are times where I give both my kids their plates first. Mm-hmm. And then when I sit down to eat, I'm bringing my husband's plate while I'm bringing my own. Mm-hmm. So I fed the kids. Then, I'm coming. Here's our plates. Cause, but my husband, even if I fed the kids first, he doesn't feel.
But I don't think any of this, and I
don't think it matters.
I want to say shit, so I'm gonna say shit. Sue me. I don't think any of this shit matters. Where you rank, I don't think it matters. Who gets they play first, I don't think that matters. What we are doing is neglecting what's most important.
And what is that?
Do you feel loved, regardless to where you rank? Are you paid attention to? Do you feel valued? Do you feel important? That's what matters. Like, and not even if somebody else is making you, because I don't care. Somebody can be, I've seen it. Somebody can be, I've been that person. Somebody can be treating you good as gold. Mm-hmm. And that shit ain't good enough for you. It ain't good enough for you.
I think it,
like it, I mean, you, and then too, just somebody can be breaking their back, going out their way to do whatever for you. And that just ain't what you want. So you feel like you ain't doing me right. No, you ain't doing yourself right.
I see both sides of it. I can see where no, it doesn't matter. And there doesn't have to be a hierarchy or a ranking system in the right setting, in the right context. If there's if it's made so you don't have to question it, then I don't think the ranking system has to be there. I absolutely believe that. However, if you feel like you have to question where you fit, where you belong, because you're not being made to feel like this is where you fit or this is where you belong, then I do believe that it is the man's responsibility.
It's your responsibility.
Or in the case of a woman, it is the woman's responsibility to let the men in her life know where they rank. Like, for example, my father knows that he's my father. My father does not feel slighted by my husband. My husband does not feel slighted by my father. I do for both of them. I don't really, interact too much with my brothers. They're grown. They live their own lives. So there's no need, for that competition. If it comes down to it, my husband and my father both rank equally in my life. My daddy has his place. He stays in his place. My husband has his place. And I let them both know. So there's never a need for that boundary to be crossed for either one of them to feel like I'm catering more to one than the other. I suppose I'm just
less freaking traditional. All this stuff is BS to me. It's like the way that there's a need to be ranking, that you have to parent a certain way. Man, to each their own. Whatever works for you, works for you.
But then here's the thing. What happens when it's not working?
When it's not working, you got to get out there and figure out, keep working it. Keep working it.
If there's no rank, let's say there is no ranking system, and then not having, and a ranking system is like a bad term. Like, I don't know
I don't like ranking system. I don't
know what a better term for it is, but
I'm a little rebellious on all that.
I believe that there are boundaries in every situation.
And only you know your boundaries. So again, you can't expect the next person to treat you like the queen if you ain't even clear on how a queen should be treated. You know that.
I know what makes me feel like a queen.
Okay.
And if you're not giving me that,
then you make you feel like a queen.
But what if I want him to make me feel like a queen?
Bring a queen to the table.
Oh, I brought her.
Bring a queen to the room. Hey. Bring a queen to the building. Yeah, we gonna quit rambling on and on about this. We gonna, cause I mean, this thing could go on and on and on. I mean, do you feel there's a need to have, hierarchy, ranking systems and all of that in your personal relationship with your partner? Be it female, male, female, however that thing works for you. Do you feel that it is the other person's responsibility to make you feel any type of way? Okay. So in that sense, that's what we gonna say with that. And cause I feel real good about my position right now.
Real good.
Shout out to Marla Shackelford. Mentor to the stars. Okay. So we're gonna go on over to our mindfulness minute and our self-care. And there's just some self-care for this voice, y'all. So for our self-care assignment this week.
What we doing?
This what we gonna do. We gonna quit passing the buck. We gonna quit tiptoeing around the thing, talking about, oh, maybe it's respect. Oh, maybe it's too tedious. Oh, maybe it's this. Maybe it's where I'm positioned. No, identify precisely what is causing you stress. It ain't got nothing to do with all that other stuff. It don't got nothing to do with that. Figure it out.
I can name mine. It starts with an A, and a J.
Oh my goodness. And I can just say, I know you lying. But often when you feel stressed out, it is a generalized feeling of stress. If you take a moment to examine your situation, however, you will find that your feelings are actually the cumulative result of numerous individual pressures that have finally reached the boiling point. One of the first steps towards learning how to manage stress is to identify these individual pressures. The next time you start to feel overwhelmed and stressed out, ask yourself the following questions to determine what is causing these emotions. Even if you're trying to figure out what your place is in somebody else's life, ask yourself these questions. Am I overcommitted? Even if it's your job. Am I taking care of others and neglecting my own self-care? Are you treating this brother like a king and not treating you like a queen, or the other way around? Am I trying to accomplish everything on my own without asking for any support from anyone else? You worn out because you running around here with your cape on trying to get it done because you are Wonder Woman, you Superwoman, you can do it yourself. Baby, it's all right to say, hey, I need some help. All right. Another question is, what is going on in my life right now that gives me a sense of struggle? Find the problem. Is what I stress over more important than my health and happiness? So sometimes it ain't even that serious. Focus on you. Fly. Worry about your own health and your own happiness and not give anybody else that, I'll say, burden of trying to figure it out for you. So our self-care assignment for this week is identify precisely what is causing you stress or what you tripping over, baby, so you can fly. And our mindfulness minute. Yes. All this toiling of parenthood. Oh my goodness. Relationships, respect. Mama and them told us what we got to do. You know, daddy done showed us the way, man, and we didn't know it was going to be this hard. Write a thank you letter to your parents.
Wait a whole minute.
And we done talked about that karma coming back. We done talked about parents and all that. Take a moment today to write a quick note of thanks to your parents. It could be a letter expressing your love and gratitude for all of their support over the years, or a simple thank you for the dinner they put on the table. Especially when they let you get your plate first.
Okay.
I'm kidding. It doesn't matter what age you are. It is important to thank them for their unconditional love. Try not to send this note on a birthday, anniversary, or holiday. Rather, on a random day when it takes them by surprise.
I like that.
Yes. This note will fill their hearts and will remind them of what a good job they did. I'll say rearing you. Include a recent photo of yourself to personalize it. And not only will this mindfulness minute of writing a thank you letter to your parents give them peace and give them joy and happiness, it will have you in a spirit of gratitude, and it will also have you feeling good about your situation and yourself. Because, baby, you ain't in this thing by yourself. All right.
It's so funny that you picked that for the mindfulness minute, because I actually have a great aunt who I love dearly. I took the time and wrote her a card of thanks and mailed it about a week ago.
Amen.
And I haven't heard from her yet, so I'm not sure if she's got it, because, you know, the mail is a little different now. But I can't wait till she reads it. Even if she never says anything to me, just for me to be able to let her know that she was so influential in my life and she was so amazing. I just had to let her know. And she's my great aunt, but she's really not even my aunt. Her husband, her husband is actually my great uncle. Okay. So if you want to be technical, she's not related to me. You know what I mean?
Well, since we're being technical real quick, because sometimes we lose sight of, you said you sent a note. You got a note today too via voicemail, didn't you?
I actually did.
You got a note.
I got a note of confirmation that I was doing the right thing from my dad. And it was nice. And I saved the voicemail because I think I'm going to need to refer back to that a couple of times this week because he really gave me some kind words. And it was one of those moments where, my dad does see me. My dad has a lot of children. There are 6 girls and 3 boys.
Said that you are was it a great parent or a wonderful
wonderful parent. He said you are a wonderful mother. He said you've been through a lot and you've been a mother through it all, and nobody should be able to make you hang your head down.
And when your parents say you're doing a great job, man, you don't need confirmation from anybody else what your position is or what you've done. All right, I'm just gonna say that. Okay. So now let's go on over here. We have our self-care minute. We had our mindfulness minute, and now you got to do. We're gonna move on over here to our brain science.
So our brain science comes to us in talking about respect. So, it is the brain science behind respect and why respect feels good, why respect is necessary for your brain. When people are treated with respect, they naturally become more engaged in their work, they become more committed to the success of their organization, or are more creative and generally perform at their highest level of effectiveness. Not because they have to, but because they want to. Simply put, fostering environments where people feel valued, supported, trusted, and empowered, leaders are increasing value for all of their organization stakeholders. So when it comes to your household, you want to feel respected. You want to feel like you are the queen of your castle or the king of your castle.
Queens and kings of castles ain't typically respected. They be getting all dogged out and stuff.
They do.
Man, get them titles out the way.
Okay. So according to author Paul Mashenko, he says, research in neuroscience shows that disrespectful behaviors cause the brain to go into protection mode because our internal filtering systems do not differentiate between physical or psychological attacks. When someone is treating us poorly and undermining our physical and emotional well-being, the brain's response is similar to that of being physically attacked. When we find ourselves in this mode, we are physiologically incapable of doing our best work because our brains become slightly singular focused on being disrespected. Respect is all about creating more quality interactions with our coworkers, our families, and not just tolerantly coexisting with them. The investment of time and energy on the front end results in a deeper knowledge and awareness of each other that later leads to increased levels of effectiveness and productivity.
See, God, and all things, you better look for yourself in that situation because we done been there.
We have been
and
there.
And then it was one part in there I don't know about where it was saying the brain, I won't touch it no more. Either way, I just say hocus pocus, change the focus and
hocus pocus.
Yeah, change the focus and don't be acting out for just how you feeling. Think about that thing, because it probably ain't even a case of disrespect. Your feelings just hurt. You just was a little bit embarrassed. You just was a little caught off guard or shot. Man, you go on about it. Go on about your business.
So here's a parting thought. A man should understand he doesn't protect his woman because she is weak. He protects her because she is important.
And a woman and man should understand.
Oh, I mean, I agree, but I'm just saying this particular quote was female centered on the man, but I do believe that a woman should do the same when it comes to her man. Every man deserves to know where he is.
When it comes to ourself, we should do it when it comes to ourself. First, love yourself before you try to love somebody else. You can't go saving a day for somebody else. You can't even save it for yourself. I ain't on that one. I didn't feel too good about that, but I love. I love that. Oh no, but yeah. So we gonna get on up out of here. My goodness, this was too heavy. I'm almost draining. I got to do some self-care. So you can listen to us on SoundCloud.
On YouTube.
And thank you for listening today. Watch us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. Of course, Facebook. Post, comment, ask questions, send pictures. We'd love to see you. Cause soon we're going to be planning, maybe we'll have some type of, meet and greet.
We're going to do a meet and greet and a live show.
Yeah.
I think we owe it to our fans to do a live show.
We do.
Where they can interact with us on the spot.
Yeah. And brothers, we really need you to come out. Cause these women, we can't run the world out by ourselves.
Who run the world? Girls. Who run the world? Girls. I'm sorry.
And you can send questions, comments, and feedback to us in our email box at flywithusla@gmail.com. Y'all, first, love yourself.
I love me.
You love you? I love you too.
I love you.
I love me too. We just love it. Mikey. Peace.
Peace.